What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36. And this is Big Games BS brought to you by Dead Media Group, presented by thehumidor.com. Thehumidor.com, the go-to website for all things tobacco related, cigars, sticks, cutters, humidipacks, humidors, beaties, all kinds of different things that you want. Short, long, fat, all kinds of different cigars, different sticks that you could get. Type in Sports Den at checkout for 25% off. I think it's over $150. Gets you free shipping in the continental United States. Start off this year by making sure that you go and get good smokes. Life's too short to smoke cheap cigars and drink cheap liquor. A place with no cheap liquor and no cheap cigars is Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. This is where we bring the show to you each time. We'll have more content coming out of here. It's like Cheers with the mob twist. Everybody knows your name. Great Bloody Marys, great drinks. Love the vibe, love the fellowship, love bringing all kinds of different people in together. We're having a Jaguars watch party. Jags are playing the Titans tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. Come watch the Jags. Stay for DJ Pierre and also for Pierre the saxophonist. Sassy Pierre. So I think that's what his name is, but he's really, really good. Dope on the piano. We'll check all those things out. I unfortunately will not be here for those festivities. I will be here after that though. Because I have to go work. I got called in First Coast News, and it was just it was a little wild. So I got called. Chris Porter said I got to get you in there, and he was like, James, I need you there from 1. I need you there at 6 p.m. He's actually no, I need you there at 4 p.m. and then I need you to be there after the game for an hour. So Chris, there ain't no way in hell I'm gonna be able to get in the stadium around that time. It's gonna be chaos. It's gonna be anarchy. If you're not in the city, if you're not in Northeast Florida, or if you're going to be missing it. It's just a great day tomorrow for good football. I can't wait for it. Jags should win. Don't know, but they should win. So that's kind of just what's going on with me. But again, so we can get to some. Actually, we'll bring this up at the end of it, Miles. The first thing we'll bring up at the end what I need people to do. But bottom line is, if you get an opportunity right now, if you're listening to us on SoundCloud, listening to us on Twitter, listening to us on Facebook, if you would go to YouTube and go find Den Media Group on YouTube, follow that. Need that to be 2,000 subscribers. Or more preferably 5,000 at one point. But right now I'm going to take 2,000. Need you guys to start watching it on that platform. That platform generates the most money for and the most clicks. We're only keeping it up on Facebook out of a courtesy to my old people. Because y'all don't know how to use that shit. But if you would go to YouTube, comment, like, rewatch, send it to other people, tell friends, hey, this opinionated black guy has some really, really interesting things that he's saying about all kinds of different things. So if you would go check that out for me. We've got, we got our tailgate. We're already promoting for Labor Day. We'll be doing the spring game tailgate for FSU. But go check that out. Church in Norton. Go see the link. It's on I think it's my pinned tweet anyway on Facebook. Go check out that. We've got the tickets up for that. But speaking of tailgates, I will be personally at the Bold City Brigade tailgate. I'll probably be checking out another one. That's the one you had just clicked on, Miles. That's my tailgate. That one right there. Yeah, I will be at this tailgate, the Bold City Brigade tailgate, hanging out with my boy Cap, hanging out with Dilla. Hanging out with some of your favorite other people. I think Eric Dunn will be there. I hope I get to meet a lot of these people in person. I've seen Dilla. Me and Dilla pass each other in the airport. And, Dilla is your favorite insider's favorite insider. So I fucks with Dilla. So that's where I'll be at. Some place called The Slab. Don't know where it's at. Looks like it's a far walk. So I'll be taking a pedicab there. and back. But I plan on, hopefully they have some good, refreshing beverages and some food over there. So we'll get into some more Jags talk, but make sure y'all go check that out so that we can bring in the AFC Championship in a right way. Before we get into Jags talk, I want to get into some more Northeast Florida talk. Um, Ironically, 10 years ago to this day, I fell in love with the University of North Florida. I think I did before, but one of my favorite clients that I've ever trained is a guy by the name of Bo Beach, one of the best basketball players that ever played at UNF, one of the best basketball players in the First Coast area, played at Ponte Vedra, 6'8". I mean, when I tell you a pilgrim, my boy is pilgrim, is Pillsbury white, Pillsbury Doughboy white. But he was nice, athletic. We worked really, really hard. UNF came in and offered him, and I talked to him about, he had offers from Miami, Rhode Island, some other bigger basketball schools. But we talked about this conversation that I had with the then all-time leading scorer at UNF, a guy by the name of Karan Godwin. Me and Karan, when I first moved to Jacksonville, he's one of the first people I met. Karan said he was the all-time leading scorer at UNF in basketball. And I said, that's like being the tallest midget. You're still short. Who cares if you're the all-time leader? Nobody cares. Nobody gives a damn about the University of North Florida. Then Karan looked me dead in my eyes, and he asked me, where do you stand on your all-time scoring list at your university? And I was like, damn. So I remember telling Bo that story and then telling Bo about, they've never been to the NCAA tournament. What if you could make these things happen for them? And Bo did it, and then boom, things happened. But I brought this up so that we could look at, go click on the North Florida thing. They just made the news. Bo took them to the NCAA championship. NCAA Final Four. They won this. But man, this right here happened. Their coach is one of the best coaches that's in college football. Man, goes to the echo of a curse. He doesn't curse, but he gets very close. You know exactly what he's saying. But I just love shots like this. Good mid-major ball. Shot that bitch from out east. Boom. 1.3 seconds left to take the lead over, I believe it's Kennesaw State University out of Atlanta. I believe in things like adopting local universities and some things that I plan on doing over here in the next few years. Is UNF is one of the schools that I plan on doing a lot of stuff with. I really like their athletic director. One of their admins is a very big supporter of mine as well. I want to be able to help UNF continue to grow as they do stuff. I also like EWC, the black college here. So I plan on doing some stuff here because if you're going to be in a city, you need to be able to support those things that make your city, that put on for the city. Just like I support FAMU, just like I support my alma mater, I plan on doing my best to be able to help support UNF athletics. And it's also just a cool ass time. They had this suite that I posted a few weeks ago, where I took the boys and we were just living our best lives in that suite. And I promise you, I'm going to tell them that they need to let me come to another basketball game and I have to sit in the suite. There is no other way around this. So even if I got to buy the ticket and then they get me in the suite, I just want to be in the suite. But that's kind of all right, that's enough love for them. Now I got to get into the show. Again, as I talked about, the Jaguars are in a situation where they are playing for the playoffs. There's not a team in NFL right now, in my opinion, playing not better basketball. There's not a team in the NFL playing better basketball than the Jacksonville Jaguars or football. I think we can beat people hooping in 5-on-5. I also believe we can hoop on the football field. Every situation and every group has increased. And it goes back to what my theory has been. It is very difficult to be as bad as the Jaguars have been in the past few years. It's easier to win a Super Bowl than it is to lose as much as they've lost. And it comes down to coaching. Doug Peterson, being a former Super Bowl winning coach, understanding the game, playing at a high level, brought some guys in who understood the game, and the Jags have actually kind of gotten it right in spite of some things, in spite of garbage bin bulking. in spite of not having an adequate roster, I believe, in certain areas. They're still doing good enough to be able to win and win convincingly at times. Now, there will be times when they've been exploited and being a young team and still not having talent, where you go see things like what happened in Detroit. But more often than not, you see how they competed against the Cowboys. You see how, and they beat Cowboys. You see how they did a lot of these different things. You saw them play a terrible game against Philly earlier this year and still have the opportunity to win. You saw them go and handle business against Houston after not handling business against Houston earlier in the season. Now, if they go out and they don't fall, what happened, and they go out and they handle business on this Saturday at 8:15 p.m. at TIAA Bank Field, the Jaguars will unlock an opportunity to host another playoff game and probably be poised to be on a run similar to what they had in 2017. Great quarterback play, decent run game, and good defense will win you a lot of games. Now, they'll have some trips but right now we've also seen Pat Mahomes and KC not play the greatest the other day. You look at the AFC, they play a lot of these teams that are the top dogs in the AFC. They play them very, very well, or they have played them very, very well. So there's an exorbitant amount of optimism that could be brought to the second season, which is the playoffs, of the Jaguars if they go and capitalize and handle business. Even if they don't go and capitalize and handle business, there's still a lot of tremendous optimism that will be had toward this season. Yes, it's still average, but average is not as bad as what people think in their day-to-day life. The NFL was set up for most teams to be average, and to be able to make the playoffs, you got to be obviously above average. That's 1 to 2, 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 at the most wins better than everybody else. But average gets you just slightly above average gets you to the playoffs. Now, next year, with some of the additions that they can make, that they've already made, their wide receiver core will be great. They've got 2 wide receivers that are close to over 1,000 yards. Evan Ingram at tight end is almost over there. You've got Travis Etienne. When he decides that he wants to play, he's a damn good running back. He's very explosive. The offensive line still needs some pieces. Trevor Lawrence is extending plays, doing very, very well, not making tremendous boneheaded decisions. And where you're lacking is in the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, you still need a corner, but you're getting better corner play. But I will say this, the safety play has been really, really good. Cookie Head Jenkins, who I call him, Rashawn Jenkins. You've got Cisco that's been playing well. Fabio. What's Fabio's real name? Andrew Wingard. Actually, Andrew Wingard's playing so well that it makes you not want to say, why is this white boy in our defense? Like, he's playing like, oh, that's that bad white boy right there. He's playing like the stereotypical guy going out there banging and not caring about stuff, setting the tones. You increase the linebacker play and you find another defensive lineman, and all of a sudden you've got his team. But has anybody, I put this out here, and if you listen to me since 2017, there's a player that I actually hate. He's probably a good person, but I hate him. I hated him as a Jaguar. And that's Taven Bryan. Taven Bryan was such a bad football player that I believe he was a bad person. Truly, you can't tell me that he's not a bad person because of the way he played football. Now, James, how could you come to something like that? Look at what happened. In 2017, the Jags went on a historic run where they were a Miles Jack not being down play away from beating the Patriots and playing Doug Peterson, Philadelphia Eagles, in the Super Bowl. Do you know what happened in 2018 with the Jacksonville Jaguars? They drafted Taven Bryan. Do you know what immediately happened for being at the apex? You were you were a finalist to be able to make it to the championship. You draft Taven Bryan and you immediately get to a first-round overall pick. The team stuck after Taven Bryan was drafted. The Jags move on from Taven Bryan this year. And do you see what immediately happens? They immediately get better. The roster was so bad with them that when they got rid of this cancer, they immediately got better in every aspect. Taven Bryan is the only person that I've ever seen lose every rep in a practice in one-on-ones with the offensive line. Calais Campbell had to beg the guy, hey, man, let him win. And unfortunately, that rookie probably got cut because he let Taven win and he wasn't battling for his job. Taven Bryan is I'm sorry. He's sorry. And he moved on, and now the Jags are better. They're in a much better place, much better position. But that being said, even social media has gotten better. I don't even know who this kid is. I want to hire this kid. Somebody, it's like a movie, a little novel or some shit. Not that. Is that it? That might be it. Replay that a bit. Yeah, that's it. That's it. We're going to show y'all this because this is must-see TV. Now, the first thing that I noticed is that he actually put up something where he actually used the Stranger Things and said this is the upside down world. And I kid you not, it makes so much more sense now with this season that this is the upside down. Even though I don't watch Stranger Things. Check this kid out.
At 2-0 Jacksonville, the two participants in when they face the Titans.
Now, every original AFL team has reached the Super Bowl.
Great men with great ideals can be separated by hundreds or even thousands of miles and still be in the same place. They can be years or even generations apart in age, and yet somehow find themselves on the exact same page. When these men join forces with the focus of reaching the same goals to obtain the same outcomes, they are not two, but one. Instead of simply adding one's common attributes to another's, they somehow tend to multiply all attributes of both. Whether from St. Louis or East Atlanta, whether from a savage land or a booming metropolis, whether they are 2 or 2 billion, the greatest their numbers could ever become is to truly become one.
When they needed motivation, what you do? I gave them hope. Every time we went to war, we gave them smoke. When they needed motivation.
I don't know if he worked. It says he's like UNF's creative director. So as I was just giving UNF love, I don't want to rob him from you guys, but at the same time, hey, hit me up, dude. What's this, man? Let me go look at ball. Because if you need a job, bro, like it's Noah Thomas. Go follow Noah X Thomas on Twitter. That's who made this. Kid got almost 42,000 views of this video right here. It was awesome. So, like I said, I'll be going to the Bold City Brigade tailgate. I'll be walking around. If anybody else sees me, got this little thing right here. Like, come holler at me. But I am going to be in the press box. I will be documenting the press box. I have not been in the press box since I left 1010. I haven't seen some of these people since I almost died. Remember, I always tell y'all, like, I've never seen, I haven't heard from anybody from 1010 since I went to the hospital. So last time I talked to anybody from 1010 was, I believe, like July 21st, 2021. So it's going to probably be a little bit some awkward stares. Like, holy shit, this man's alive. But like, I love it. There'll be some cats that I hope to chop it up with and just say, hey man, fuck it. I'm still alive. We making money over here. We flourishing. But I'll be back at the bank. Would love to catch up with some cats. Matter of fact, if you go look at it's the one that says Facebook story. This is basically how I plan on hitting the bank, bro. With me and my crew. Even though I think this dude's like a little bit of a Fruit Loop at times, but I ain't even gonna lie. He is living his best life as a dude who's rich. Yep. As a man who's rich with women, I can't even hate on him. This is exactly how me and the crew gonna enter TIA. Gonna be me right there hanging out at TIA Everbank Field if you want me at your tailgate. But again, that's enough of the Jags. I just can't wait for that to happen. A little bit of FSU news. Coach Greg Moss, my candidate for potentially the next defensive the defensive backs coach at Florida State. Coach Greg Moss. Man, let me hit you with that follow, Coach G. My bad, baby. He's a defensive analyst. He posted up something, and this is for my guys who love to troll. FSU, you won 10 games. You should not be proud of that. Right? We've only been playing football for 69 years. This is our 25th 10-win season. This is the 7th since Bobby's been gone. So let's just do a little bit of math here for the haters. Let's go 25 divided by 69. That means 36% of the seasons that Florida State's been around, we have won 10 games or more. I want to put some perspective in this. North Carolina State University. They've been playing football for 117 American years. Hold on, let me see how far back that goes. We're in 2023? No, I got to get out 2022 because 2023 season hasn't started yet. Okay. They've been playing football since 1905. Since before the first Great War. They've had one 10-win season. Wake Forest has been playing football for 115 years. They've had 2. Clemson has been playing for 121 years. They've only had 19. The lion-ass Cubans down in Miami have been playing football for 86 years. They've only had 15. The University of Florida has been playing football for 110 years. They've only had 16. University of Georgia has been playing football for 119 years. They've only had 27. If it were easy, everybody could do it. 10 wins is an incredibly great year to have for any program. And those are some of the guys that we are on par with right now. And I appreciate Coach Greg Moss. And I'll bring back up that comment next because that's what's in the news right now. The news of Florida State right now is Florida State's defensive backs coach just left to go to the University of Arkansas to become the co-defensive coordinator. Shout out to Coach Woodson. Congratulations on the improvement. He'll be the defensive backs coach and co-defensive coordinator for the Arkansas Razorbacks. So now there is an available thing there, and everybody's wondering, what will Mike Norvell do? Will Coach Norvell promote from within? That would be my pick would be Coach Moss. Now you've got guys like Coach Fuller, who's off field. You've got guys like Gerard Ross, who I played with, who's an off-field role. You've also got guys like I can't even think of his name. Kewan Ratliff, who played very well at the University of Florida, who's also off-field. I wouldn't pick those guys over Moss. I like the pick of Moss because of what's happened with Tony Tokarz. Tony Toka is what I call him affectionately. He was an offensive analyst that worked with quarterbacks. And then now you saw what happened when he took that next step with Jordan Travis. There was a familiarity with Jordan Travis, and Tony was doing this very good thing. Tony was a very good coach. I can see Mike going on in that direction. But if you go look at the next tweet from there, Miles. Yeah, that one right there. Now, Group chat. Group chat runs your timeline. You can ask Russell Simmons. We get a lot of information, a lot of intel, but I also know a lot of different things. But you know, I wouldn't mind seeing an op come in, and this is how I would embrace my op, especially if he comes in and he prevents one of the top players in the nation from going to his alma mater where he coaches at now. And if he also brings some of them top guys from down Miami, brings them on up to Doak S. Campbell Stadium, I would love to have DeMarcus Van Dyke come on over to Florida State. Matter of fact, I would have to change my troll because they got the Dyke. That's their quarterback. So I would have to change that because I wouldn't want to offend our Dyke if he comes over and becomes our Dyke. Because our Dyke is cool. I like our Dyke if he becomes our Dyke. But, you know, he's a phenomenal recruiter. He's played at a high level, played in the NFL. He's got coaching experience. So he checks a lot of boxes. We need a good recruiter there. We've obviously we've missed Travis Hunter. We've missed a few guys over the years, and he's done a really, really good job since he's been an on-field coach. So I wouldn't mind that. Also, I would like the troll. Miami fans are high on the hog about whatever, for whatever reason. They're always high. I just think they're high. But I would like for that to happen. If you want more of my insight, go check out the Sporadics podcast. We talked about that at depth. Got other things. Now, there is a new rivalry that's happening for Florida State fans, and I don't know where it started at. I do. I think it was 2010 is when it started. When we destroyed, unfortunately, in a clean hit, Greg Reed knocked out one of the greatest players in South Carolina history, in Marquise Lattimore. Broke his jaw. And since then, I don't know what's happened, but Florida State has not had the greatest relationship with the University of South Carolina. USC Juniors, as we affectionately call it, because nobody looks at South Carolina as the USC. Everybody knows USC is Southern Cal. So we call them USCE or USC Junior. I don't know what they did to Mike Norvell, but Mike Norvell looks at USC Junior's roster and basically like Denzel in his interview with Jamie Foxx. And he looks at that roster and every time says, best believe I'm leaving here with something. This man we've poached Fabian Lovett, Jamie Robinson, Jazz Turner-Time. We've got Jaheim Bell at wide receiver, tight end, that just came here. We've had Gilbert Edmonds, who just came here, who just did defensive end. And they've got a 5-star defensive end who just left, who's talking about possibly coming to Florida State. It's got South Carolina fans in an uproar. They're calling us, they're saying they are poaching, they're cheating. And like, listen, if you're not cheating, you ain't trying. I'm going to look every year now. What South Carolina got up there that we really want? Like, it's take your bitch season. It's what we're doing. Big bank, take little bank. And then some South Carolina fan is really emotional. Like, I just want Florida State to realize where they are. Where the fuck is South Carolina? I have never in my life heard a kid say, I just want to grow up to be a cock. It's just always been in my heart and my desire to be a cock. It's never happened before. Never will happen. You've literally you've what is it? You've won one conference championship since before desegregation? You were okay when Spurrier was there. I think he won you an East. You couldn't win the East when Florida, Tennessee, and Georgia were down. Right now, you're little brothers to Clemson. Tell us where we've been. In my lifetime, which I'm probably older than this guy who said this, but I'm 30. In my 38 years of life, I can't remember a year where South Carolina was just that great or that dominant. Stop living on the SEC. Now, I admit it kind of sucks that, if this were happening to me, I'd probably be a little bit upset too. But that's your lot in life. Don't blame us, blame God or whoever you pray to. It's their fault. We're just out here doing what big dogs do. We see something we like on your plate, and we're taking it. And dude had the nerve to say, man, I really wish we played Florida State. Bitch, I do too. I wish we played y'all too. You know how much fun it is being 2-0 every year in the SEC? We'll beat your ass worse than we beat LSU. Trust and believe, because you ain't LSU. They actually have talent. They got people we want too, but we can't get them. And stop this shit, this unsustainable shit. I'm tired of you guys. I talked about this on Sporadics. I've talked about this before. I hate these arguments that you guys get. The problem with social media is social media has made us all believe that we have the right to have an opinion. And you do. It doesn't mean you have the right to not have somebody call your fucking opinion out. I'm trying to find this because I like to know what people are arguing. It's not sustainable. Sustainability is what we're doing. And I come from this. I've seen guys like my boy Sam. I've seen guys like Silk for UF's Twitter. I've seen a bunch of people basically who hate the fact that Florida State is doing this shit and doing it at a high level. They're saying this. So CJ Wilson tweeted, "Here we go with the sustainable stuff. New rule has been out 2 years and people saying it's not sustainable. We have no clue. I know what is sustainable though. Mike running down on the rest of the state next year again. And everything's trending toward us beating that. But what does sustainability mean? There are 4 types of sustainability, 4 areas of sustainability. What do you mean by sustainability? But this is what it means, so we can all argue on an even playing field. Fulfilling the current needs without compromising the needs of future generations. So what is Mike Norvell doing? He's recruiting guys with 2 to 3 years of eligibility left, outside of a few. Fisk has 1 year. He's a one and done. Jaheim Bell, if he comes in and he balls out, he has the option to come back for 1 more year. Murlock, the tight end from Shorter, has 2 years. Johnny Wilson, who we brought in last year, can leave next year or come back. He has 2 more years left. Trey Benson has 2 more years left. Jared Verse has 2 more years left. All these guys just so happen to be very, very good and are key pieces to the team. What is the difference between getting them and a high school kid? All of this will change once they reinstitute APR. But at this point, when you have a team that's poised and primed to win right away, why not go get 6 to 7 guys that you feel developed and have put into your system can enhance what you do and provide depth? It's all about thinking logically and thinking about common sense. And I know a lot of people have a hard time grasping those things and doing those things. But also those same people want Coach Fuller fired, who's a top 15 defensive coordinator. I've never heard anybody like just whatever. One of the things I like to do on this show is update past things that we talked about. Everybody remembers on what happened on Monday night with Hamlin. He is now doing so much better. If you click on that first one, it had my eyes sweating a little bit, but I don't want my tweet to show up. I need the Hamlin. I want the Barstool video to show up because this was kind of like this was a bar right here. You had to click that was that one. Yeah, that one. If you click on the actual Barstool Sport, the video. Yeah, man, what these doctors said, man, this is just what it's all about, man. I love the fact that everybody's giving this young man his flowers now. And we did the research and saw how great he is. I wish we saw it before, but now I like seeing it and doing those different things like that. But go ahead and push that the play button on this, man. These doctors are awesome. kudos for this, man.
Yeah, I can clarify. He did not speak. He was able to communicate in writing, and he is unable to speak with us yet, as he still has a breathing tube in, and we're still assisting him with ventilation. So when he was communicating with us last night and again today, that's been in writing.
Hold on.
And to paraphrase one of our partners, when he asked, "Did we win?" the answer is yes. DeMar, you won. You won the game of life.
And that was just awesome. That right there, man, just shows the competitor that he is, but also just shows doctors with great bedside manner, man. It makes you, if you've never been hospitalized, you've never been down bad, you won't understand it. I had this, and now just to give even more updates on Hamlin. Right now, he is he's actually they've removed the breathing tube. He's able to breathe. He's still assisted, but he's able to breathe on his own, and he's talking to people now. So it's even more steps, and he's got his full mental capabilities. He's got a long road ahead in recovery, but he's doing damn good. And as a guy who was down bad for 10 days, when I had COVID, I couldn't breathe. So to understand 50%, that's a lot of oxygen. They like, you trust me. I almost got in fights in the hospital when they were talking about turning my oxygen down. Because what happens is there's an adjustment period that has where your lungs basically have to get strong enough to go to that lower load. And I mean, it's painful, man. It's pain. Like, you have to think, do I want to breathe? That's how much it hurts. It's a talk that just lets me know this man's happy to be alive. I'm so happy for his family, man. I'm so happy that everybody's went and donated for donated to his cause. It's over $5 million in there. Fuck you skeptics that wonder about shit that you shouldn't have to worry about. And I'm gonna say this. Just like Skip Bayless needed to use a little bit better timing and tact, some of you nobody gives a shit. And keep it to yourself. I've seen that happen in lacrosse. I've seen it happen in baseball. Everybody talks about concussions without realizing that girls' soccer is the leads in concussions way more than football. It's played year round. They're heading a ball coming at them 60 miles per hour. I'm not sure if you realize that. That's not fucking intelligent. But nobody talks about those things because, well, there's a lot of reasons why people don't talk about those things, but we don't. Nobody gives a shit about your soft ass son. Relax. It's not the time. Just cheer it. Be happy that somebody else is alive. Moving on. Just a quick little piece on this. Jimbo Fisher has just announced that he's hiring Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino is an offensive genius, best known for his stops at Louisville, as well as at Arkansas. He got unceremoniously fired from Arkansas because he was riding on the back of a motorcycle with the chick that he hired, that he was having an affair with, got in a wreck, had his head in the net. Really know who these guys are. Jimbo Fisher, a head coach known for when he left Florida State for threatening fans to a fist fight. Bobby Petrino, who threatened him and his brother used to threaten players to fist fights. DJ Durkin literally had watch. And Steve Adazio, who uses racial epithets at players and coaches. This is like basically the fucking Junction Boys. If somebody doesn't put like they're following Deion Sanders at JSU, if somebody doesn't follow this coaching staff around, they are missing must-see TV and content. It's gonna be crazy. Jimbo Fisher, Jimbo Fisher is the embodiment of Jay-Z's I'd rather die enormous than live dormant. Like, he's gonna go out in a flaming, magnificent wreck. And it's awesome. Another person who's trying to go out in a flaming, magnificent wreck is the lying-ass Cuban down in Miami. Nobody lies more than the University of Miami fans. You got to pull this one up. This is because I want people to hear this, and then I'm going to read the letter. You've got guys on your beat who said Lane Kiffin was coming. He guaranteed Lane Kiffin was coming. He was talking to Lane through texts and tweets, and then Lane didn't come. Then he said, it was always Mario. Nobody deflects more than lying-ass Cubans. And I posed this question the other day, and I put, this man is unhinged. Every day, the lying-ass Cuban, John Ruiz, goes on social media and threatens people to sue them because of mean tweets. And a billionaire attorney goes online and threatens people because they make mean tweets about them. He got into it with a guy who was a University of Florida fan earlier. It's not Dennis. It's Thompson, DK Thompson. Had people dox my man. And it says like, oh, this is what you get when you kind of talk about this. And he's trying to be like this bully, which I tell people all the time. Doxing is not as hard as what people think. Like, if you've got a registered business, I got news for you. More than likely, they can find out where you live at, people. The problem is, I always tell people, you got to remember who you're talking to. If you don't like what I say so much that you decide that you want to come to my house, you're going to meet Justice, my pump shotgun with the light that's going to have you singing with Mahalia Jackson if you come to my house with some bullshit over some tweets that a billionaire sent you. And that's what your family's going to remember you by. But this is the wildest thing because you can't just sue people because they're mean. And libel actually has to mean something. But let's play with this young lady, her experience with this lying-ass Cuban has been, because it is absolutely hilarious to me.
You guys, I got served with a defamation lawsuit in Twitter DM. That's right. I retweeted a tweet and then I asked a question and apparently I was legally prohibited from seeing this article and having thoughts and questions. And I was not allowed to look at the guy's page and see this quote tweet and then comment. I don't usually open like random messages, especially photos, but I finally opened this one and I'm so glad that I did. Please pause to read. Here's the ending. If I don't retract and if I don't retweet or something, I'm gonna be sued. I really hope he follows through. You guys, I got served with a defamation lawsuit in Twitter DM.
All right. So
that's basically, right. I retweeted a tweet and then I asked a question and
is literally going on Twitter every day, getting into these battles with people about what they can tweet, what they can't tweet. Don't say this to me. Oh, you're gonna fail. Oh, you're gonna be in trouble. This is what he sent to the girl. MSP Recovery law firm. Tweets and retweets made by Dara Faye on Twitter concerning John H. Ruiz. Did not send it in. It's certified mail, didn't send anything. But basically, what he did was send a glorified cease and desist letter. If this man tried to take this to trial, this is what I would do. This is what I would hope. Please, John, I would love the opportunity. Big Game James thinks you're a lying ass Cuban. That's what he's saying. I would love for you to sit me in a deposition, because you know what that means. I get the opportunity to. It means I get the opportunity to depose you back. That also means that I get the opportunity to ask a judge to be able to give me very specific things that I want. And you know, like I know, that there are people that you talk to. And I would love the opportunity to see those conversations. I got the numbers, the names, exact things that the emails, I want to see it all. To use in a court case, of course. Then sometimes in these depositions and this information and this gathering stuff, things happen. People find things and then people get sued for things. See, the problem is that it's not just John Ruiz, it's you lawyers in general. One of my favorite shows is Suits. And Suits had this one episode where there was a business deal that was needed, that was necessary to be done. And the lawyer wanted to have his opinion. And the businessmen said the deal was already done. We just needed to make sure the legalese was correct. We don't need you on this. Johnny Cochran, Ben Crump, my guy Chuck Hobbs, Steve Smith. There's a lot of good attorneys out there that's making money. Most of you guys racked up $250,000 or more in debt to make $50,000 a year. And it's a great, noble profession, but I think a lot of times we take this profession and we give it a little bit too much credence. John Ruiz is not a smarter man than 90% of y'all just because he has a law degree. In fact, I'd argue that he's not a real lawyer. Incompetent at the minimum. I would never hire him as an attorney. If this is what he's going around doing, and if he's a billionaire and this is how he spends his day, I get 4 or 5. At least 4 or 5 was entertaining. It's the wildest thing to sit there and use your money or your wealth or your fame or your prestige to go around and bully random motherfuckers on Twitter. Little girls. That's macho. That's what's alpha. That's what's strong in these streets. That's what we're proud of. That's what we're back. Man, get the fuck out of here. Go win some ball games. Lying ass Cubans, man. I'd be ashamed of that motherfucker right now. I'd be like, hey, yo, you need to go shut the fuck up. In retweeting your article, you have essentially adopted the defamatory statements made by Occupy Democrats as your own. Holy shit. What if somebody said, John, we're going to go check all of your Twitter information? Because here's what's going to happen, John. They're going to take, if it does go to trial, this is the greatest thing in the world and how you'll lose your case. They'll just take all of your Twitter history, all your quote tweets, and literally use that same line of logic to let people know that you know that was not inflammatory towards you. When you quote tweeted this, does this mean you agree with this person and everything that they believe in? That's why people put quotes and likes, or excuse me, retweets and likes are not endorsements. He's trying to Kyrie her. He is definitely trying to Kyrie her with no power. It's a perfect example of people who think that their fame inside of their bubble is bigger than what it really is. That's why that's why I never act like I'm a big person. I know big people. I have famous comedian friends. I have kids, people I went to high school who are famous actresses. Them motherfuckers are big time. I'm just a fullback. A person who is in line as Cuban territory. Is football coach with the personality of a mega church pastor. Neon Primetime. Deion Sanders is one of the greatest football players to ever played this game. He also ain't shit. I don't give a fuck what you're not going to ever convince me that Deion ain't shit. But before we get into that, click on that one right there. This is what sparked the controversy. And then there's some other things that are surrounding some other information that's coming out about Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders has this Amazon Prime series about his time at Jackson State his last season. I believe it's 6 parts. This is one of the things, and this is how he interacted with one of the players, a kid by the name of Pope. Calls him Noodle. Marcus Pope played at the University of Miami, graduated from the University of Miami, took a grad transfer to Jackson State to follow the path and get the wisdom, the guidance, the mentorship, the discipleship from Deion Sanders. Let's see how Deion treats this young man who hadn't been there for very long, couldn't have been there for very long. So he's got him separated for people who don't realize offense just stood up, red. Said now defense stands up is in blue. And then some guys in the quarterbacks and some other people stood up. Here's where the issue comes.
What type of science experiment? Yo, this is
This-
deeper than football. Wow. Get this nigga out of here.
This is what you defend. What about that was mentorship? What about that was helping that young man who had already graduated? He came into that situation to come and help you win a black college national championship.
Explain it because they said they can't really care.
Okay, so basically what happened was, okay, no, fair enough. Deion Sanders had called a team meeting. In that team meeting, he says, I don't know what to do with one of my players, with one of our family, and he called him one of our family members. One of our family members has been talking about basically not being a part of the family or whatever. And I need to try to figure out if this guy's a cancer or if he's not. He did not say who the player was to the people, but I guess the team obviously had an understanding of who it was. That player was in that room at the same exact time. In the room, he's got the guys dressed for the day. They're dressed in offense is probably wearing blue, red. Defense is wearing blue. The player was an offensive player. Most of the offense stood up to keep the player. Most of the defense stood up to kick the kid off the team. Deion asked for opinions. Some guys said, half the team said, hey, man, give that kid another chance. That's family. Deion, who had already made his mind up with what he wanted to do, stated that what if that kid is a cancer and affects everybody else? See, the problem is, the problem, it's his toy. One of the things I don't always tell people, coaches have a hard job. Their job isn't to defend or look for the interest of one. They have to look for the interest of the whole. But if you're going to do it, be a man. See, the problem with all of this stuff is that people get caught up in their fandom and not in who the person actually is. Multiple things could be very true at the same time. In this situation, there was no leadership in this. In fact, it's what they call passing the buck. Instead of being the alpha, as Deion loves to talk about, and making the decision, you pass the decision off onto your team. So now that you're not culpable, it's not me making the decision. It's the team making the decision. And in that situation, you created division. And even in the dismissal, I would have no problem with how he did it. It says, you know what? I'm glad we all talked about this, guys. I've taken your information into account as a team. I will get with that said family member and I will let you guys know what my decision is afterwards. But nah, there's no cameras would see that.
That's what I was going to ask.
So now you've got the cameras, and on national TV, this young man, now it's after the fact, but now this young man has to relive this. This happened at the beginning of the season. This happened before Jackson State played Florida A&M.
Is nothing sacred in the locker room?
Everything, no, it's not even that. Everything Deion does is about Deion and making sure that people see me. That's why one of the 5-star prospects that committed to Louisville did not follow him from Jackson State to Colorado. There's mention that Deion's a mega church. It's like playing for a mega church pastor. It's why when people take away the fandom and you look at the nitty-gritty and you look at what the situation is and what the odds are, and you look at who the person is, there's not a thing in there that has convinced you that Deion Sanders is that great of a coach. And it's damn sure not a thing that has convinced you that Deion Sanders is that great of a person. My boy Dibby raises a good point, and this is something that's really, really good. I like this point. It's not against or pro. It's just like I agree with Prime and his decision. Just don't agree with him doing it live in front of a camera. It's different on Hard Knocks when you see guys get cut, right? These are professional athletes. But again, it comes down to this. And this was something I saw on this was before Deion. This was when Deion first put the ass hair on his head. Because remember, Deion Sanders has been bald, guys. He had the ass transplant. You know, you take the ass hair, the hair off your ass, and you put it in your brain, in your head, in your scalp, and now you get a lineup. That's when Deion started feeling himself again. He felt young again. But I want to play this, and then I just play it for the pure irony, because before I play it, actually, remember, Deion's son, Deion is the king of daddy ball. Nobody recruited his son as a Power 5 quarterback. His son is only a Power 5 quarterback because he went to go become the head coach of a team and brought his son. He did that also for his son in high school. Not saying that's Shadur. Well, I don't think he'll be as good as he was in black college ball, but just saying that's what happened. But this is ironic. Has had to say about some other stuff. Go ahead and push play on that.
I don't know what's going on. I think it starts at the crib. It starts at home. We're so soft with our kids, and we're guarding them and protecting their feelings and emotion. And we're not raising dogs, man. We're raising cats. We're raising mama's boys, man, and daddy's dream kid. Instead of getting on these kids, making sure they fight for what they want. I don't even see kids today thinking about man, I can't wait to work my butt off so I can retire my mama. Man, they think about how many followers they can get, man.
And that's
how many likes
basically
they get
the
on the
push
post.
pause.
Not
That's basically what you've been doing, Dion. Dion, you described you. Daddy's dream. Man, get the fuck out of here, Dion. The Hate O'Clock brought that should have been the Hate O'Clock. The Hate O'Clock brought to you by Green Acre Sporting Goods. Go out there, get your good weapon, man. New year, new me. Second Amendment. What time we got? How far are we over, Miles?
1 hour.
Okay. Get your second, get your 2A on. Go get your license this year. Don't let 2023 go away without you doing this, man. Go get the guns you want. Z and them are going to make sure you are armed to a T with the best things that you need. Get a safe. It's not just guns. Go get you some fishing equipment. Go get you a bow and arrow. Go get you a crossbow. Get you some knives. Get you all kinds of cool things from out of Green Acre Sport. It's like an outdoor man's dream. I love it. I love going over there. Love hanging out with those guys. So knowledgeable. Tell them Big Game sent you. They're staying busy. Again, you know what they have? I went to another place because I had a gift card to go try and buy some bullets, right? And they had plenty of bullets. You know what I realized? Bullets are expensive. But you guys keep saying Green Acres bullets are more expensive. Not more expensive than that box store that I just went to. Green Acres is way more affordable, way better, easier to find what you want as well. Check them out. Follow us on social media. Hit me up. I will make sure you get pointed in the right direction. Nothing in this world do I hate more than domestic violence. But not just when a man hits a woman. But I hate when women hit men. And then I hate the way that it gets broadcast. So let's play the video. I'll let everybody see it. And I think Dana's repenting, and I like, his actually he's wrong. I'll give him that. But go ahead and push the button so that people can actually, see what's going on. Let it play one more time because I think we might have missed that first part. So, I know a lot of people don't like this stance, right? I'm not of the belief that there is no reason that a man should not put his hands on a woman. I don't think a man should put his hands on a woman, but I'm not going to say there's no ever reason. I believe that you should be able to defend yourself. I'm also going to understand context because I also know Dana White is a huge man. And I also tell people this, there's one place that my mama always taught me, don't let nobody touch me in. And that's my face. If you hit me in my face, my first reaction is I'm not controlling of that. Like I go irate. And just looking at this, she startled that motherfucker. She smacked the shit out of him. And he didn't smack the shit out of her. Dana is a prize fighter. Like, he's not the greatest UFC fighter, but he knows how to fight. He didn't hit her like a man. He went back. That's two people who are in the wrong and fucked up. And now I have to be in a situation where they're going to have to take some losses, rightfully so, because they didn't believe in what we learned in kindergarten in the 80s. The golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Remember, every year, keep all hands, feet, and objects to yourself. We didn't learn that in kindergarten very well, though, in Miss James' class. We fought a lot. Matter of fact, me and my friends fought so much and fought other people so much that they actually made a rule that all of us could not be in the same class anymore at that elementary school. It's great. Great times. Loved them. Still talk to those guys. But It's not even really what my hate o'clock is about. I'm not going to feel sympathy or sorry for Dana as he goes through this stuff and he's going to get persecuted and all those things. I don't care. Dana's done a lot of shitty things in his life that he probably deserves this in some capacity. I don't feel sorry for his wife because I don't even know what the situation was. He cheated. He flirted with a girl. That doesn't give you the right to physically assault somebody. He did these things. And I'm not a bully. I don't like the situation. I just know Dana White didn't go over there slapping bitches until he got slapped. And I still think he should face some punishment for still going out and doing what he did. But here's what I don't like. And Miles, if you can pull up the next tweet. Context matters. And what does that mean, James? Context matters. At the dude McFly, waiting to Oxtail, tweeted, Dana White boxed his wife on camera and got less heat than Will Smith. Did he? Will Smith hit a man. Didn't hit a man in a nightclub. Yeah. On grainy video put on TMZ. Dana White, even though he's the CEO of one of the biggest fight, it's like Vince McMahon doesn't get anywhere near as much critique for raping bitches as anybody else. Because nobody, it's a very specific audience that isn't big. Will Smith is an international actor that walked on stage and hit somebody unprovoked on the largest stage for international actors. After somebody made a joke and then didn't leave it at that, sat back in the seat and said, keep my wife's name out your mouth. A wife who keeps putting her name in other people's mouth. Matter of fact, can't forget the times that she was in Tupac's mouth. Or Tupac was in her mouth. Or whatever, how you want to say that. Dog, did you see the last thing that she just did on the Red Table Talk? So Red Table Talk, they had everybody from a different world come in. Kadeem Hardison, Jasmine Guy, all that they talk about. What was your favorite episode in a different world? Do you know the episode that she picked?
I refuse. I don't believe it.
She said this unprovoked. It was the episode that Tupac was in. All the episodes. We didn't give Will Smoke. We gave Will Smoke for slapping the person that had nothing to do with his real angst. If Will Smith would have smacked Jada, we would have said this. He'd have got the same amount of information, the same amount of heat as Dana White. How about that? Because we would have been mad at Will. Will, you don't need to hit the women. But we'd say, you know what? I'm not saying you should have, but I understand. I mean, it's like this. Anytime a guy does some shit like this, we automatically put him in the same category as Ike Turner. Ike Turner was out here. I saw a video of Ike Turner, and it wasn't him, but it was Larry Fishburne and What's Love Got to Do with it. And I guess Tina said something. They were in the little thing. Tina says something, and her friend gets up and says, "Wait a minute, Ike." And he gets up, and Ike slaps her so hard and follows through that he has to sit back down. I was just like, was the follow through that strong that it set his ass back down? That was some cut slappage. Again, it's not I don't like violence in general. Most people who are violent people don't want violence because they know where it's going to end. But nothing makes me, I'm starting to white my whites, my pilgrims. I'm coming on board with y'all on some stuff, man. These colors making everything about race.
Yeah.
It's a little annoying. It is a little annoying. It is a little annoying. Just to even like that's the thought that came to your mind was Dana not getting enough heat like Will Smith got. And ironically, it's not a popular thing, but the theme is this: if they both left them bitches, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in right now. Dana wouldn't have slapped her if he would have just left her. And Will would not be slapping Chris Rock if he would have just left Jada. All in all, what it isn't is none of this, even including Dana, is not alpha male-ish. It's not at all. It's not an alpha male moment. Alpha males don't have to go around perpetuating that they're the shit. Don't have to go around slapping bitches. Have to go around doing these different things. But I will talk about what I believe is a true alpha male moment here. We're going to play that video first. Like, one of the thing that you learn when you look at history is there was some dope shit that happened back in the day. And that people cared, and that men have always done this thing where they're going to embrace this stuff. Being an alpha is being aware of who you are and trying to enhance it, be great, and make others around you great. And this Alpha Male moment is brought to you by Alpha Male Jacks. Alpha Male Jacks 2023 is going to be our best year. We're going to get fit. Not just fit. I'm not talking about looking like jacked and being all emotional and shit because you're taking all these hormones and juice. Nah, we're going to go out there. We're going to look good. We're going to feel good, and we're going to fuck good. And that's what Alpha Male Jacks can do for you. Look good, feel good, fuck good. Helps every aspect of your life. Go to alphamalejacks.com. Check us out on all social medias. Hit me up in the inbox. We got some good commercials coming out. We have a lot of different things to help enhance the quality of your life, and that's what it's all about. Fat Man Club. I'm thinking about starting one in Jacksonville. But go ahead, push that video out. It was just the craziest thing surfing Elon Musk Twitter the other day and seeing this shit right here. Elon not doing a lot of fucked up shit, but this is some good. This was good.
I want to hear about this Fat Man's Club.
Oh, dude, the Fat Man's Club.
The Fat Man's Club of New York, 1904. Members had to be at least 200 pounds.
Check.
Pay $1 fee.
Got that.
And learn a secret handshake and password. Password's fat. You see each other, you do the Tati shake. Give me the front of that trolley car. Was that a Benz trolley?
Oh yeah.
Sheesh. Hello, poors. Hello, skinnies. Hello. They kind of spry, man. They hopping on that train with some
Yeah, they don't look that fat to me.
Well, again, we got to remember the time period. All these people are 13 years old.
And it just returned from war. So yes. I want to hear about this Fat Man's Club.
Oh, dude, the Fat Man's Club.
The Fat Man's Club.
Membership into the club provided fun events that participants could enter. A very popular one was weigh-in competitions. All of the men would line up and weigh themselves one after the other. This was a chance to put size to the test, and the largest man would go home with a prize. Many of those weigh-ins were open to the public, and people from far and wide would gather to see which pump man was going to win the gold. The organizations also planned other events, picnic excursions, a ball, a clam bake, and other wealthy events. Could you be in the Fat Man's Club? You had to weigh at least 200 pounds. Mandatory weight check before each activity. The member had to meet minimum weight, or he would pay a fine, or even sit out of the fun completely. Another necessary step was that members had to pay a fee. Usually it was a small fee, like $1. That was pretty shocking because they were known to host members of high status and wealth. However, the clubs were formed in a time where food was 100% guaranteed and jobs were scarce. Being 200 pounds meant that you had a steady form of income and meals depicting prosperity, even with the minimal fee. The last criteria for fat men was that they needed to memorize a secret handshake and password. Without a phone, I do not think I could remember this. There were fat women's clubs as well. They just weren't as popular.
Yeah.
One well-known women's club had a small criteria that the women came in at 236 pounds. The start of the 20s, the roaring 20s, obesity became a bigger problem in America. Flat men clubs went away. You got to embrace your body, guys. This is just fun. This goes to show. Women aren't as fun. Patrice O'Neal talks about this all the time. Like, men are lovable because we do things to make you love us. Women, like, if you leave men alone, I hate, this is a terrible, because there's a lot of other things that go on. I do not recommend jail for anybody. Have you seen some of these jail films, Miles?
Yeah.
Them motherfuckers look like they are at a boys' camp. They are cooking. They're doing hibachi. They're doing activities. Men left to their own devices without pussy available will come up with fun activities to do. Now, some of them will include violence. Some of it will be self-depraving. But for the most part, we would do. Think of men. Men, think of one of your good friends and what you got. Like one of my good friends' nickname is Black. You know why his nickname is Black? Because he is black as fuck. There's no racism in it. There's no crying. There's no pick. It's just that's that man. And we love him. Somebody call me Tankhead. They come up to me. I'm like, it's not picked on me. Nah, it's what we do. It's what men do. We have fun because life is fucking hard. It's stressful. So what better way to have fun? Like, the best fat jokes that I've ever heard in my life came from fat people. It's why when I see these think pieces about size shaming or about all these other things, I'm like, they said they had a fat women's club. People talk about Lizzo. Lizzo getting I'm intrigued by Lizzo. Lizzo getting dick. Aries Spears said the best thing in the world. He's like, women come for the three things. You ain't getting no pussy, you gay, or you got a little dick. He's like, neither of those things have ever stopped me from getting pussy. He's like, because I have swag, I am accomplished, I am these things. What happens is if you believe in yourself and you are alpha, you don't have to always feel like you have to outwardly show it. Alphas just are. I love it. I bet if Miami had a fat man's club, there'll be less lying ass Cubans. On that note, man, I appreciate you guys chopping it up with me, man. This is the second show of the year. Doing good. Make sure you go check out the sponsors, Green Acre Sporting Goods, thehumidor.com. Type in sports den at checkout. Goodfellas Cigar Lounge. Jags coming into the playoffs, baby. This is the playoff play-in game. We win tomorrow. Probably going to do a special live show from the stadium. Get tons of content. Loving it, living and loving it up. Also, Suns flag football game season starts tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be good. Have no idea. Got some good cats, but I don't remember the league. My son's been playing tackle now, so gotta make sure he doesn't hit people. So on that note, man, appreciate you guys for chopping it up with me. We will see you guys next time.